Credo Voices, the podcast where we bring you inspiring stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I'm your host, Winifred Okafor, the CEO of Credo Advisory.
For decades, the snack industry has been dominated by ultra-processed options, often lacking nutritional value. Studies have linked them to increased risks of cardiovascular diseases and type 2 diabetes. In this episode of Credo Voices, we spotlight a changemaker tackling this issue, Winifred Okafor, founder of Bonita Foods, a leading snack brand based in Abuja, Nigeria. Inspired by her frustration with low-quality snacks, Winifred turned a kitchen experiment into a thriving enterprise, now employing over 100 people. But Bonita Foods goes beyond snacks. It's a movement that empowers women, supports local farmers, and promotes sustainability by advancing SDG 2, Zero Hunger, SDG 5, Gender Equality, SDG 8, Decent Work and Economic Growth, and SDG 12, Responsible Consumption and Production. Bonita Foods is creating a meaningful impact. Join us for a conversation with Winifred Okafor about her innovation, empowerment, and sustainability journey.
Thank you, Awele. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad to be here with you on Credo Voices. My name is Winifred Okafor, and I'm the founder of Bonita Foods, a snack food brand based out of Abuja, 7 years old today, now a nationally recognized snack food brand, known for producing high-quality plant-based snacks made from locally sourced dried fruits, nuts, and seeds. The company was founded 7 years ago, born out of frustration with my inability to get locally sourced snacks that rival the sort of snacks I saw in international supermarkets. I found that the snacks that were available were poorly packaged, lacking in innovation, or poorly distributed. So, with my passion for food, I felt that I could create something better than I could find in the market. And that's how I set about creating snacks for my kitchens, sampling them with my colleagues. And very quickly, I found that I was onto an opportunity. And that's how we got here with Bonita Foods 7 years later.
Excellent. So, Winifred, I need us to backtrack because I recognize how incredible this is because I know your story. However, this is not something you just kind of decided to do. And the next thing you are now basically becoming a national or global brand. That is not how it happened. Winifred, there is sweat, there is blood, and there's tears along the way. This is why I want to talk to you. This is why I thought it was really important, especially from one female founder to another. I understand the struggle and how difficult it is to build a brand. So let's backtrack a little bit. First of all, Bonita Foods. Bonita, is there a story behind the name?
Yes, there is a story. Bonita is basically beautiful. It's what my husband calls me.
I know.
So
I love
I tell people that I am definitely an accidental entrepreneur. I was, like I mentioned earlier, this was something that came about from a personal frustration. So I remember being at work sometime in 2016 and really thinking that I had come onto something based on the feedback from my colleagues.
Winifred, this is where I have to stop you. Let's talk about the feedback from your colleagues. And I have to preface it. You know the saying where they say success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of those colleagues. Winifred, I was one of those colleagues. Winifred, I remember. So let's give our audience some context. And this will also tell the story of your journey. Winifred, you are actually a technocrat. We worked on an infrastructure project for the UK government.
Yes.
It was UK NIAF. And Winifred, every day you'd come to the office with these delicious, healthy snacks. We had other people in the office. Winifred, from my perspective, you would come, you just share plates of coconut treats and all these really organic and really nice, healthy, snacks. And me, a self-proclaimed foodie, and at a time where,
Exactly. I remember you being a foodie.
at a time where a lot of us were trying to be more health conscious, and as opposed to, how you had the bottles of granite on all the different tables,
Exactly.
we were all
Exactly.
looking for an alternative, healthier, snack in the office. Winifred, you would come into the office and just start distributing these snacks. And I remember we'd be giving you feedback. Oh, this is
Yes.
really nice.
Feedback.
This one, Winifred, that's how Bonita Foods started.
Exactly. That's how it started. That's how it started. It started from you
So
guys.
can I claim a little bit? Can I just claim a tiny bit of it, please?
Yes, please do. You're a key part of that
But
story.
Winifred,
I say it every single
but Winifred,
everywhere.
yeah, but so many of us do these things. I used to bring food to the office. I remember I used to
Exactly. I
bake.
remember.
But
Yes, yes,
Winifred, I
yes.
have not started, or I can't claim to have started a thriving, sustainable food business.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to have that passion and you're doing it kind of like a side thing or just because you like it and your colleagues ask you, oh, can you make some more of those coconut treats? My kids really love it for their snack. This is more than that.
Yeah.
So again, can you just let's really unpack how you started? So we're tasting it, you're bringing, all these treats to the office, and then what?
Yeah. And then one day I was driving to the office and I thought to stop by a supermarket near the office where I would normally buy groceries. For context, I was already thinking at that time that, where could this go to? How could I scale this? How could I go about making this something bigger? And, I got into the store and said, oh, can I bring something that is really good for you to check out? And of course, the first thing they asked me was, do you have your NAFDAC regulation, which is the food safety regulation for Nigeria?
Yes.
And I said, no, I don't have that. It's just something I'm doing from the kitchen. But I just, I've got really good feedback from my colleagues. I don't want to get, feedback from people that don't know me and maybe not trying to be nice to me, So, so the guy, the manager in the store was pretty nice. And he said, okay, just bring a couple of packs. So, and the next day on my way to work, I took about 3 or 4 packs. Now, what was a light bulb moment for me was getting back home around 6 o'clock that day and seeing about 5 missed calls from the manager saying
What?
that somebody had come and taken one and then came, he returned and asked, for more. And, and that he was asking me if I could bring in some the next day. Of course, I didn't have any because, that's not how it operated at the time. It was something that we were making in our spare time. So that was for me a moment, a defining moment, and of course, subsequently or the next day, I said, no, I couldn't bring the next day, but maybe I can bring in 2 days or 3 days. And that was it. This manager gave me a chance to test out the product without the regulatory approvals. And then, of course, from then on, I knew that I needed to start working on it. And that's where the Bonita name comes from, because I think shortly after that, I contacted a lawyer and said I needed to register a company. He came into the office that day and asked me for the name. Of course, I didn't have a name at that time. Things were moving very fast. And I just thought, oh, Bonita Foods. That's what my husband calls me.
Which I'm sure he loved.
That's a part of the story. So I said Bonita. In fact, it was Bonita Streets, which now became the trademark, and then Bonita.
Wow.
So everything went by very quickly, without a lot of too much planning. So even the name was pretty random, but it sort of stuck to me, and it now tells a nice story when we tell people it's actually a name my husband calls me. It's Bonita, because people always ask, where does that name come from?
But I love it. It means beautiful. It's a beautiful journey. It's a
Exactly.
beautiful product.
Yes.
The packaging is, incredible. So it really does resonate and permeate across your brand and the way you do things. So I think it's really apt, even though it has a very personal, story behind it. Okay, so you've now registered it. You're now building it, because you started out, I came to your house and you were doing all of this in your kitchen, and then you moved it to your boys' quarters. I'm asking you how are things going. Winifred, the next thing I know, you have a massive warehouse in Abuja,
Yeah.
in the outskirts of Abuja. And I'm like, wow, that is amazing. So you have this story of you started it in your home. And this is the story of so many women. So many of us start something quite, as you mentioned, accidental. But I'd love for us to also get more of kind of what happened along the way. So you've registered it and you're now growing your workforce. So tell me a little bit, for now, how many people do you have and where are you located?
So we have, I'd say, 100 staff, full-time staff with Bonita, cutting
Wow.
across production, sales, warehousing, logistics, raw materials procurement. So we
Oh,
have a team of
wow.
100 people. And, yes, to your point, it started from my kitchen, my staff and I, and it's grown very organically.
Oh my goodness.
I tell people that it's grown based on the demand for the product, and that's very heartwarming for us because we've never really been able to keep up with the demand, even today, as of today. I tell people it's a just-in-time business. We literally have no stock in the warehouse as of today. We're, you know, quite fast moving. And so coming from the kitchen with one staff, I quickly added two more ladies. Basically from direct referrals. There was the one staff telling me that she had two friends that could join us and she could vouch for them. She knew them. They lived somewhere around her in Pape and they could come to work together. And so she brought in two of her friends. And within 6 months, it took us about 3 to 4 months to process the NAFDAC registration for that hero product. I call it the hero product, the original coconut chips.
Yes, the flagship
Yes.
product.
And we moved to a boys' quarters nearby because I had a baby at the time and I was still working.
Yes,
So I needed
yes, you had.
somewhere.
Oh my, I remember.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I needed somewhere that I could, touch in on my way to work, check back in, because it was a new operation. And I had no experience in the CPG, the consumer packaged goods space at all. So I was learning just as my team, my new team, we were all learning this together. It was referral based. The ladies were bringing people that they knew. And I enjoyed working with these women because, like I said, we were learning this product together. We had no understanding of what we were doing from a scale perspective. We could make a pack or two, 10 packs, 20 packs, but now we're suddenly looking at making 200 packs a day, 300 packs a day. So we're all learning this, standardization. We had to even go into things that we had no knowledge about. Shelf life stability and testing. We needed to start sending products to the labs to confirm that these products were shelf stable. We started going into learning about packaging material. We needed these products to be on the shelf and be stable for 6 months. So the average packaging material in Nigeria, I'd referenced that at the beginning, was actually insufficient. It was inadequate. The plastic bags you see that plantain chips fried are packaged in the average supermarket wasn't appropriate for our product because one, it was preservative free, it was not fried, and these are things that would have enhanced the shelf stability of the products, given that they're natural products. So
yes.
we were learning very quickly about packaging material, about laboratory testing, about rancidity of products and how we could avoid that because now it was no longer going from my kitchen to my colleagues. It was potentially going to Kano State and Lagos. So we, as a team, we were learning very fast. The women were committed to that, just a committed team, bringing in, when we needed one more person, we would ask around who knows somebody and they would bring in one person with vet. And so that's how the team was growing. By the time we got to the big boys' quarters, we outgrew that in 1 year. We now moved to another bungalow type space in Kado, which was about 3 bedrooms converted into 3 rooms converted into a mini factory of
Yes.
sorts. And then from then on, after 18 months, we outgrew that space again and we decided to go into a proper industrial warehouse.
All this while, you were still a consultant.
Yes. I was a
Exactly.
consultant till 2019. So it was very
I can
challenging.
imagine.
It
You're a
was
new mom.
challenging.
You have your regular day 9 to 5 consulting work that you are doing, and then you have
Yeah.
this growing operation. Just it unbelievable. And this is I hear this a lot about particularly women who are women founders juggling the struggle, juggling all of those different things, wearing the different hats. And the fact that you're able to have
Exactly.
now transitioned and grown this into a veritable organization, a recognized brand in Africa, that's exceptional. Exceptional. So I would love to hear more
Thank you
about
so much.
the women you work with. I think about 80% of your workforce are local women. Winifred, I'm
Local
doffing
women.
my hat to you. And I want you to talk to us, explain to us why and how.
So I love the women we work with. I'm passionate about women. I'm passionate about empowering these women in a way that is sustainable. All of a sudden, they have guaranteed income. Every month they know that they get paid this amount. So it's been, I mean, from the start of the journey, like I mentioned, these were women referring each other. I know this person, and they were bringing themselves, and I realized that they were just committed. They were malleable, willing to learn. We were creating products at the same time, so we would bounce ideas off each other. Because from our hero product, for example, customers started asking for more variants. Like, we love this, but what next? And that's how the other flavors started coming about. We bounce,
Wow.
put ideas together, share ideas. What else can we do? What else can we create? And we just have these meetings at the end of the day. What else can we do with this? What other fruits can we play with? Because at this point, we knew that we wanted to do work with locally available fruits. So that the women that we work with are mostly mothers, but also increasingly we have younger women that are transitioning from school. So women that have just finished their national diplomas, trying to raise money to go back into university. We have an increasing number of women in that category. We work with them. For the older women, we find that they're staying for longer. They've been with us from 2017, 2018, from whenever they start. However, for the younger women, they're usually committed for 2 to 3 years. We know that they're saving money to go back to higher education.
Wow.
And in one instance, we've had one of our pioneer staff leave us. She left us in 2019 to go to university, and now came back to intern with us as
Oh
what they
my
call
goodness,
their IT,
Winifred. Oh my.
their industrial training. So we had her at the beginning before she
Oh,
went to school, and now we have her as an upskilled,
wow. Winifred,
and we now have an upskilled version of her.
permit me to do this justice, okay? So for our international audience, right? In Africa, we are very intent on incorporating women and empowering women for many social,
Mhm.
cultural, and economic reasons.
Mhm.
And we have a saying, you empower a woman, you basically build a nation. Winifred, the fact that you have from the outset included women, it has been very participatory. You have collaborated with them. You have empowered them to be part of your process, part of the creation. That is gold, Winifred. They're not just paid employees, they are stakeholders. You don't find that
Mhm.
around, you don't find a lot of that anywhere in the world. And the fact that they're now, you're giving them these skills, these are life skills, these are professional skills, and they are coming back to continue the work. You're enabling them to
Yeah.
seek higher education. You're enabling them to be able to feed their families. You're enabling them to be able to better themselves. Winifred, I don't want us to trivialize the impact of what you're doing. Beyond the food, beyond you putting these really delicious, healthy, sustainable snacks on shelves across Nigeria and beyond, I really want to hop on this and really stress this point. I'm a gender advocate, die-hard advocate for women, and this is really, I mean, it's outstanding what you're doing for them.
Thank you. I would say that seeing their progress is heartwarming for me. And one thing we started doing last year was to ask, especially the ones that have graduates, to chart out their future. So every quarter, at least once in 6 months, they have to tell us the training that they want to go for. So now we have the women saying, I want to go and learn, for example, about supply chain, how to procure the right raw materials. We have women saying they want to learn about food safety. They want to take higher grade because there's a basic level of food safety training that they do, and then they want to progress to the next level. We have them saying they want to now start preparing for certifications, food safety certifications, HACCP, and all that. So it's really about empowering women and also helping them to decide where they want to go to. At Bonita, we tell them, you might not be here for 10 years. We want you to be an ambassador of Bonita. We want when people meet you outside to ask where you are coming from. So use this as an opportunity to better yourself. Think about where you want to be, what field, do you want to go into? We have our staff start off, for example, in production and pivot into, raw material handling. We have them go from production, which is where most of them start off, and say they want to go into warehousing and facility management. We have them start off in the packaging floor and then go into another part of the company. So
I
that
love
fluidity is something
Love
that we
it.
appreciate.
So they're able
Yeah.
to really get all these different skills within the safe space of Bonita Food. They make their mistakes, they learn, and they're able to get all these different skill sets. And then, I mean, so it's just really remarkable. I want us to talk now about the farmers and the farming community. How are you partnering with local farmers?
Okay. So I'd say that when we started, it was pretty small, and it was okay to just buy some of our fruits from the markets, big fruit markets. Very quickly, we realized that there was no way that was sustainable given the growth in our demand. We started to go back to establish relationships with these farmers. So in Kuje, where we are, there are farming communities for sesame seeds, which has become a big part of our products, groundnuts. These are the value chains that we have direct relationships with farming communities, where we support them, we tell them, we offtake directly from them, and advise them on farming practices. Where we can, we give them a small stipend to help with their processes at the beginning of a season.
Yes.
In some value chains, we work directly with aggregators that work with cooperatives, and this is more so in for our banana products, where we don't take directly from farmers. We work with aggregators who work with these women. So we have direct relationships with the women through their cooperatives, and who are the aggregators for us, just because of the volume offtake at this point. It's also become necessary for us to work with some of these aggregators because we have standards. So it just helps in harmonizing that the products that are coming into the factory have meet a certain standard. But one thing I'm particularly proud of, especially working with these farmers and aggregators and the women and the cooperatives, is that we've kind of become an off-taker of last resort in some instances, particularly in bananas, because sometimes for one reason or the other, these women might find that they are left with bananas that they can't sell, and these are perishables. We've had so many instances that multiple times in a month where we're called to offtake from these women as a last resort. Otherwise, they will face losses. And, we're able to take from them and just process it. And of course, it helps them, it helps us, so we become an off-taker of last resort, as we call ourselves, where people farmers, if they find themselves for whatever reason unable to sell off their products and at risk of loss, they've developed relationships with us where we can offtake directly from them to prevent that loss.
Fantastic.
Winifred's journey with Bonita Foods exemplifies her commitment to creating a business prioritizing people and the planet. Driven by the inaccessibility of quality, healthy snacks, her vision extends to empowering women by providing them with employment and opportunities for professional growth. Her emphasis on collaboration with employees and local partners has created a ripple effect of positive change in her community.
Now, just for some context to our audience, tell me what are some of your products? I heard bananas, sesame seeds. What else? What are some of the ingredients or the produce that you use?
So we have a pioneer hero product is the coconut chips, which was basically toasted, and we developed that into 5 SKUs. We now have a moringa dates variant. We have a cinnamon variant. We have a sesame peanut cluster variant, which incorporates sesame seeds and peanuts.
Wow.
And we have cocoa chocolate.
What? You have chocolate now? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So we have these variants, and then we have another product which is called it's actually our best-selling product now, the pineapple coconut cashew mix, which is bite-sized clusters of dried pineapples with cashews and coconuts, flaked coconuts in clusters. We've extended that because that product did so well. We've extended that to now include an orange coconut cashew cluster. So that's another product. And we now have we have a banana coconut crunch, which is basically upcycled, as I mentioned to you, bananas.
Ooh.
I don't know, Awele, you must remember eating banana and
Yes.
granuts when we were growing up. Yes.
You remember?
So this product is just a tribute to that experience.
Absolutely.
It's literally dried bananas and granuts with sesame
Oh,
seeds.
that my
So,
mouth is watering. I'm telling you. Oh
yes,
wow.
yes.
A lot of variety. Again, I have to
Mhm.
reiterate. These are healthy snacks. Healthy
Yes.
snacks. And then, okay, so now we have a very good sense of the people, the incredible women behind Bonita Foods. We have a really good sense of the partnerships, the local partnerships with farmers. Tell me a little bit
Mhm.
about sustainability, like in this instance, waste. How do you talked
Waste.
about banana, I'm seeing banana peels. So I'm seeing
Mhm.
coconut shells. Tell me, what do you do
Mhm.
with your waste?
About 3 years ago, our volumes were increasing, and every day we would have 5,000, 3,000 to 5,000 empty coconut shells outside the factory. It was getting ridiculous. And we had women, akara sellers, bean cake sellers coming to take that as a source of fire, but it wasn't a fraction, it wasn't a significant
Volume,
of taking a
yes.
significant volume. Yes. So we decided to do something about this. And in my mind, I thought about how we could convert these coconut shells to begin with into functional products, coconut bowls, utensils. So if you go on our
What?
website, we do now have a thriving e-commerce platform that's, sells off upcycled coconut shells. And how did this start? It took us a while to find artisans that could actually carve the bowls, the coconut shells into, there's a process around it. We had to invest in the equipment for that. When we did find two, we had to invest in the equipment for them and just sort of walk them through the quality that we wanted. We then realized that there's this opportunity for artisans that are carvers, as they call themselves, to come into the factory, access our waste, and go sell what they
Hmm.
can, create those products and go sell them. So that's how we came up with this artisan initiative,
Wow.
where we take the products. Sometimes we have a demand, so we ask them to help us and we pay them. We build the inventory for our e-commerce platform, and they take the rest. They create products, some of them, because the products that they want to create are actually quite different from the ones we want to create. We found that the artisans wanted to create simpler products like keychains, things that the diaspora market likes, keychains, necklaces. We wanted functional utensils like coconut bowls, candle holders. And that's what we sell on our e-commerce platforms. Well, while they have a different interest, and we allow them to access that waste. So that's how we started upcycling our coconut shell waste. So about 2 years ago, about 18 months ago, I'd say close to 2 years ago, one of the women in the factory shared with us knowledge that she had got, where she found that pineapple peels were being used for in making liquid soap
What?
through a fermentation process. Yeah.
What?
So when she first of all shared the idea with me, I was like, well, I've never had this, but it looked really interesting. It seemed like she had, thought about it and got some experience. So we allowed her, we gave her the peels, and, she started fermenting and adding some sugar to it. So, I mean, now there's a whole product around pineapple peel soap
What?
that they're creating on this. We're using them to wash certain things at the factory,
Yes.
like the floors. We haven't commercialized it, but there is potential for that. So that's what we're doing on a small scale, still on a pilot scale with those pineapple peels, converting them to in-house liquid soap using some fermentation process. Other main initiative is the upcycling of the coconut bowls, which now contributes to our revenue, because now towards the holidays we have a lot of companies demanding those bowls as part of their gifting,
Oh my
sustainability
goodness.
gifting. So that's created a whole pipeline of
Yes, that's oh,
yeah.
Winifred, this is just remarkable. Remarkable how just again, I keep going back to you in your kitchen, you coming into the office, and I'm now seeing you've developed a massive operation. You're working with all these incredible women who certainly, as you've mentioned, they feel like they're stakeholders. They are a key part of a lot of these ideas and taking ownership and bringing all these ideas. You're allowing them, you're taking that risk. You are empowering them. You're trusting them. You're training them and really helping them become leaders and economically self-sufficient. My goodness. And then of course there's an environmental aspect. So you see, balancing profit with social and environmental goals is no easy feat. This is something that global brands all over the world, everyone from Nike to Microsoft are having a challenge. You have all of these different byproducts from your main product. What do you do with them? And it seems like you are just quite organically, and as you said, quite accidentally now.
Very accidental.
Oh my goodness. So you now have, I'm already thinking, okay, Christmas, how am I going to, I need to get some of those bowls, and how unique, and wow.
We have candle companies ordering them for their candles. We even have schools now. And this was another idea from a teammate. We sat down together and asked, we have a lot of these shells. What can we do with them? And a teammate suggested that this is good. This could be good crafts for schools, and I said, well, okay, take some. So the artisans even make elephants and, they're so beautiful. They make all sorts of things, elephants, turtles. I've seen turtles. I've seen bugs where they actually even paint the bugs.
Wow.
It's creative. We had this teammate suggest that schools could even incorporate it into their arts and crafts where they paint them. So they have, so many different.
Yes. Winifred, Harvard should do a case study on you. I say that in all sincerity. It is absolutely impressive what you've been able to do. And it's just I don't know of many people, let's just say in Nigeria, women that have been able to do this, and it's just touching so many different elements. You've now brought in the part about education and developing educational programs where kids can start learning and using their hands and developing these different crafts. I'm just in awe. And I keep looking back to the Winifred. Winifred, you are like my little sister at UK9.
Yes, of course.
Oh my
goodness. I am your little sister.
My
little sister.
I'm so proud of you. So, Winifred, I can talk for hours just learning. I'm learning about all the remarkable things you and your team are doing. But very quickly, so where can anybody find your products?
So our products are widely available. I'm so proud of our distribution because of how, we've come a long way. Our products are available in every ShopRite, so all national chains, all regional chains in Nigeria. We are also available on Amazon.
Hi! Winifred, I did not know that. Winifred, I did not know that. Amazon, oh my gosh.
Yes.
As I open Amazon.com at the moment of my laptop.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's, but we're expanding into, our focus has really been to expand in the continent. I call us inside joke. We call ourselves the Frito-Lay of Africa. So we're building the Frito-Lay of Africa, the portfolio of healthy products to rival the Lays, the popcorners for Africa, for the African market.
I love that.
We're intentional about focusing on the African continent with some countries that have opened up for us, especially with the ShopRite chain.
ShopRite is huge. For our international audience, ShopRite is a huge brand in Africa.
Yes, I would say that ShopRite might be our Walmart, right?
Exactly. Exactly. For context, that's very good.
So we're leveraging our success with ShopRite in Nigeria and now using that. It's a difficult model because most people would say, why not just export to the US, which is the demand generator, or Europe? But we have a different view to this. It's much harder to scale across the continent because of the logistic challenges. But we feel that we're bringing this home for Africa, so developing the pioneer, the leading healthy snack brand for Africa that is available in different countries of Africa.
Oh my goodness. I look forward to, going to Nairobi and being able to go to, any major store, ShopRite, and I'm able to see, one of your tasty snacks.
Product.
Oh my God. I think I remember I was at a store in Abuja. I think that was the first time I saw it in that particular store. And I remember thinking, I was with somebody. I was just basically, oh my God, this is like my friend's brand. I don't know if I called you or sent you a note. But I just remember oh my goodness, the joy, I was so proud of you. So I look forward to seeing that in another, African city and hearing these incredible stories of your women who are just so proactive and are part of your entire process. Winifred, well done. Well done. So if I come back to you in about a year or two, or even 5, what next? So you said you're going to focus primarily on Africa, but is there anything else you see in the horizon?
I'm building a company that I want to outlive me. So I'm thinking of a company that's 50 years, 100 years. As I said, focus on Africa, but of course, beyond Africa, we're also
Yes.
going global.
Oh,
We have distributors interested in, they've already started selling the product actually in Germany.
wow.
There's demand across, but what our strategy is to go from the continent and then go global.
Yeah.
But another thing that I'm really passionate about, I started working on last year, was that I increasingly got calls from new entrepreneurs that said, "Oh, you started in your kitchen. I like the story. How can you help me?" So now I have this network of founders who come to us or come to me and say, "I want you to help me through the journey," because it's difficult. I think the main challenge with CPG is financing. How do we raise that finance? How do you deal with the stores? How do you get your products into the stores? How do you build a brand? How do you check I get so many of these questions. So now I find myself working more with entrepreneurs that are just starting and coming for help. So helping to build that ecosystem, that support network, because that's one thing I realized I didn't have.
I love that. That's you paying it forward.
Yes, I didn't have that. I didn't have that. And I feel like, yeah,
Well done. And that's you making it easier for, those that are coming after you.
the next
Yes,
person.
that's
Yes. I got an
wonderful.
email from a lady last year who apparently called me last year. I didn't even remember it, but the title of the email, I said to my husband, she said, "You changed my life. You changed the trajectory of my business." And I was
Wow.
telling my husband, I don't even remember the call I had with this woman, but she referenced a 1 hour call. I sat down with her on the phone and just talked her through things. And she said that the call made her change the entire strategy for her business.
Wow.
So it's those sort of people that make me think, oh, we can actually build. It's not just Bonita. There's so many other brands. We walk into a Walmart and see all the brands that are, you can choose from, and we need more of that. So it's also beyond scaling Bonita, helping more brands to come and represent the continent. Stand shoulder to shoulder with global brands. So beyond scaling Bonita, I'm also focused on helping other entrepreneurs, other founders on this same journey, build brands, build stronger brands that can represent the African continent. Stand shoulder to shoulder with other global brands. So that there are many more Bonitas. There are thousands of Bonitas, just as we see in the West.
Yes.
You go into the Walmart and you see you're spoiled for choice.
Yes.
I want that to be the same story here. Many Bonitas, many brands
Oh.
that are globally competitive. So I mean, I'm working towards building that ecosystem as well. You know,
Oh, Winifred, and more grease to your elbows. Thank you for
thank you.
being selfless in sharing all of yourself and your success with, hopefully the next generation of entrepreneurs. I look forward to us having more conversations. I look forward to being able to pick up one of your coconut treats or the banana and
You will.
granite treats in Accra. Or
I will send you a box.
please, definitely. I'm heading to Amazon after this. Yes.
Okay,
But
okay,
thank you
okay.
for your time. Keep up the amazing work. And I'm so proud of you. Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
really. Thank
Thank you for
you.
joining
Okay,
us.
bye.
As we've journeyed through the inspiring story of Winifred Okafor and Bonita Foods, we've seen how one woman's vision can drive change, nourishing bodies, communities, and ecosystems. Starting from her kitchen, Winifred built Bonita Foods into a nationally recognized brand driven by a commitment to creating healthier, plant-based snacks. Her journey goes beyond food, empowering women through job opportunities and skills training, uplifting local farmers, reducing food waste, and championing sustainability through innovative upcycling initiatives. Winifred's work reminds us that businesses can be a force for good, supporting people and communities while protecting the planet. By highlighting brands like Bonita Foods, we take a step toward healthier, more equitable societies where local solutions shine on a global stage. If this story inspires you, be sure to explore Bonita Foods in stores, on Amazon, or wherever African ingenuity is celebrated.
Thank you for listening. Until next time, stay curious and keep believing in the power of your voice. This is Awele Okibo. Signing off for Credo Voices.